Africa, so that's why he asked me to assist him on this, organizing this event. Okay, so for today, Bhante will be talking on the Kame Sumichachara Viramani. So it's abstaining on sensual desire. So a brief introduction of Bhante, Dr. Chandima. He is currently an associate editor of Journal of International Buddhist Study, which published by Institute of Buddhist Research of Mahachula Longkorn Rajavidyalaya University in Thailand. He was previously a research fellow at Center for Study in Religious and Society in University of Victoria, Canada. Bhante currently he was the chaplain of the Theravada Buddhist chaplain at University of British Columbia, Vancouver from 2012 to 2016. Bhante currently is a senior advisor to a web post that's called Patisota, a virtual Dharma organization that hosts a weekly online Pali reading class, sutta discussions, Dharma talks, and variety of other Dharma activities. So, brother and sister, put a palm together and say sadhu and welcoming Bhante for this Dharma talk. Yes.
Okay, good. Thank you, Brother Beng Ui. Good morning, everybody. And I just came from Melaka after a talk last night. And it was a Vasa talk during the Vasana time. So today, as you can see, our Sunday talk is going to deal with the third precept, because this is a gradual, I would say, a series of topics. So we started off with the first precept, and then we discussed the second precept last Sunday, and here we are today to talk about the third precept. I think that the audience looks every day different. Seems to be that newcomers are everywhere. Probably it's a wholly new audience today, and except I think Ben and probably you and a couple more. So I think I have to sort of bring up some of the fundamentals and then to start off. Before we get started, shall we pay respect to the Buddha? Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo tasse bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhasse. Namo tasse bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhasse. Namo tasse bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhasse. Right. Dear Dhamma friends, what is Sila? I think I asked this question many times here. What is Sila? Because these are precepts, so we have to understand what does Sila mean in the text, or probably in your practice. Maybe in your practice, what does Sila mean to you? Sila. Interesting question, but we have to be very specific about it. Sila means? What does Sila mean? Not necessarily. Sila and Sikha, these are two words. S long I L A, Sila, and S I double K H long A, Sikha. Sila is the bigger term, subject. Sikha is inside of that sila. Make sense? I would say sila means ethical conduct in terms of body and the speech, not the mind. Because the ethical conduct in terms of the mind will be after the sila. We call it samadhi. It is samadhi, it's not sila. But without sila, you are not able to get into samadhi. Difficult. And then after samadhi, you are entering into panya, wisdom. Wisdom is a process of both sila and samadhi, right? Then sikha is a training rule that keeps your sila. It is a training rule, just like what we will be talking today. Third precept. First precept, not taking or not killing. Second precept, not taking what's not given. Today is not engaging in primarily sexual misconduct. Primarily. And you can go into other things like other sensual pleasures. Primarily, it's about sexual misconduct. A clear, I would say, advice to those people who are going to cheat on others. This is for people who should understand that a mindful, a compassionate, and a caring relationship is in need of every human being, unless they are monastics. For lay people, the Buddha says that they need a mindful, compassionate, and a caring, respectful, I would say, honest relationship between whoever. It depends on the time, right? That is the purpose, not cheating. It's not the sexual activity, not cheating, because it will lead to the sexual activity. Not cheating is very important in today's world, because a lot of people, they can't understand why we should not do it, right? Going beyond the physical activity, it is about not cheating. And then we can take it to other levels, misbehavior in terms of sensuality, right? It can go to many places, but as a lay person, it is very impossible for you to give boundaries all the time to eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, mind, for other normal things. But most importantly, you should have a boundary in terms of relationship. That is what the Buddha talks about with the Kamasumichachara. So is this precept originally a Buddhist precept? No, it was pre-Buddhist. 5 precepts, they are not Buddhist interventions, they are pre-Buddhist interventions. Because the Buddha knew that many people follow, so he simply let those people follow. And then he brought up his own version in another perspective. What is it? 10 kusala, dasa kusala. That is the original Buddhist version of, I would say, sila, actually. Dasa kusala. It extends to 10, not just 5. Because these 5 are generally bad things everywhere, in every country. Killing is illegal. It's not only immoral, it's illegal. Stealing is illegal everywhere in the world. It's not just immoral. Sexual misconduct leads to divorce and all other bunch of issues, and that's illegal in most countries. In Philippines, you can't even apply for a divorce, and in some countries. But for moderate liberal countries, like in the West, and in some countries in the world, they allow. But at least this will lead to a lot of problems. Just letting your desires to play in the way that how they want to be. Lying is leading to an illegal problem, because you can't lie, especially to the law enforcement. For legality, it's a problem. It's not even immoral. And consuming, I would say, food and beverages extremely is an illegal thing, and you drink and drive and then drink and behave, illegal. So it's not just Buddhist, it's a very good set of fundamental humans, right? The Buddhist version is 10 kusalas. What are the 10 kusalas? Panatipata Veramani, Adinadana, Abrahmacharya. I would say Kamisumichachara. Not killing, not taking what's not given, not sexually misbehaving, and then 4 for the speech. They are only 1 in the 5 precepts. Not lying, not slandering or not talking behind the back, not using words to hurt other people, any being, and not using frivolous speech. 4 for the bad speech, actually. Now that means we have to, now in the 5 precept only 1, not lying. And 3 for the mind, not being covetous, extremely greedy, and not having ill will, thoughts of destroying other beings, including oneself, and not having wrong view. So this could be a very integrated, I would say a very comprehensive ethical conduct, as the Buddha mentions, compared to 5 precepts. All right, but we simply talk about 5 precepts because you always observe, take the 5 precepts. Let me ask you a question. Do you take 5 precepts every day, or do you renew your 5 precepts? A good question, right? Let's say you go to a ceremony in a temple, so monks give you precepts. How do you take it? Do you newly take the precepts every day, or do you simply renew your precepts? What do you normally do? Renew, because we don't need to break them. If you broke it, then it's a new taking, right? In Buddhism, on the other hand, it is not a bunch of rules. There is lots of freedom compared to others, XYZ places. But it is not bad to have some boundaries in our life, moral boundaries, because it helps us to focus better. It helps us to not to waste our time, not to waste our practice. Killing is of course a problem, so we don't have to go to that level, whatever happens to us. Stealing is a very subtle thing, starting from a robbery and then you grabbing something without telling somebody. It spans between these 2 ends. Very subtle. Kamasumichachara, it is a problem because we don't have any boundaries with our sensuality. It is a problem. You should enjoy good sensuality as a layperson, definitely. Otherwise you will not understand wisdom. But not the sexual misconduct, not the sensual misconduct. Some people do not experience the both. Actually, you are not supposed to enjoy the misconduct part. And lying is definitely makes us a very unreliable person. Nobody trusts us. But when you speak the truth, you have to always understand that this truth will not create, whether this truth will create any problems or not. You have to be very careful, understand what people will understand, what people will think about when I say this particular thing. Very conscious, very mindful, very compassionate, and you are trying to understand how I can bring about peace in your speech. Suramere, it's about, it's such a crazy activity, I mean, if you could definitely get away from that, going beyond a social drink, I would say you are very mindful that you are not doing anything wrong with extreme eating, drinking of anything. All right? Sila is clear to you now. Sikha is clear to you now. And 5 precepts, as I told you, they are pre-Buddhist. And 10 kusalas, they are really the Buddha's own innovation. So now we have a good background to delve into the third precept. How do we say the third precept? Can anybody say? How do we say it in Pali? How do we say the third precept? Oh, you have to think about it. Really? Kamesu Micha Chara Veramani Sikkhapadasam. Kamesu, what does kama mean? Kama means sensual pleasures. When you say kamesu, it's in the plural form with regard to the sensual pleasures. Micha chara. Micha means wrong. I would say inappropriate or wrong. Chara is behavior. So, any misbehavior, any misconduct about your sensual pleasures leads to the breach of the third precept. Let me talk about karma. What is karma actually? Karma is the first force of the Mara. You know the Mara, Vasavati Mara? His first army is the karma, because people get disillusioned with karma initially. But here, what we understand is, without karma, can we live without karma? Without rupas, seeing objects, hearing sounds, smelling different smells, tasting different food or drinks, and then feeling the touch, human or other objectives touch, and then the thoughts, thinking thoughts. Without these things, can we live? No. That means we have to acquire some level of karmas. Not too less, not too more, not too much. We have to find the balance, right? It's a very challenging thing to many, because some people want to acquire a lot of karmas and they're running into problems. And some people hate karmas, they run into other problems, right? They're going to see everything as pessimistic. In Buddhism, the Buddha says no karma, otherwise we cannot nibbana. And then they're going to hate oneself and society. The Buddha says these are two extreme ends. Especially if you are a layperson, you should know what is too less and what is too much, right? So now here, let's figure out the karmas in different other ways. In couple of suttas, Buddha says there are two types of karmas: kilesa karma, vattu karma. I don't have anything to show you, but I could just barely say kilesa karma, K-I-L-E-S-A, kilesa karma, and other one V-A-T-T-H-O, vattu karma. Kilesa karma means you simply have the mental liking towards the objects. You feel that you want it. That is at the mental level. We call it kilesa karma. But after some time, when you like it at the mental level, and then it will go into the objective level that you're going to touch. I like the phone, I'm going to buy it, I'm going to keep it. I like that person, I want to fall in love with that person. I want to be officially with that person. I want to do this and that. And I want to buy that property, XYZ. So then kilesa karma mostly leads to vattu karma. So I would say we always come up with karmas depending on our age, time, experience, our background, everything. But we don't have to bring all those mental karmas to physical karmas all the time. Plus, if you are somebody who has officially connected to something, someone, then your karma is well positioned and you know your boundary and you are happy. If you are not happy, you would have not done it. So the Buddha says we need that positioning, that certain scaling of the karmas. Not no to karmas, no to excessive karmas, no to bad karmas, no to extra karmas. Right? For example, here let's take rupas. Right? Rupas. Do we want to be with people? Do we want to see people who we like all the time? Yes. Right? It start from your mother, father, and then it will go into other people. Right? And when the loved ones, those people we like, and we going to have some time off, have a separation for some time, you feel that the unhappiness, the sadness, so you want to see them again and all that. So what does it mean? It means that we want to see people, we want to see objects whom we really like and love in our life. Is that bad? That's not bad, right? That makes you living, right? That is a good motivation, right? But you should have a plan that where am I going to, I would say, stop the extreme levels of that sadness, right? So we should not create any unnecessary troubles within us and or to other people, but we simply feel the sadness because that's separation. What about the rest? Are you happy when people you don't like to be with you, to talk to you, and then to do things together, team up together? Is that a good experience? You always try to avoid. Why? Because you may not like them. Maybe you have some bad experiences in the past. Always try to walk away. Maybe you're gonna check who is going to come, right? Then okay, I'm not gonna go there, right? So you plan well, because you so much hate those bad experiences, right? Then the Buddha says, being with the people whom we don't like is a suffering, is a dukkha, and separation from the loved one is also a dukkha. It doesn't mean karma is bad. So we should be able to understand karma in a good way, healthy way. What about the sound? Sound, hearing your loved one's voice, maybe hearing a song, listening to a song, right? They are also karmas. But what if you are too much attached to, sounds? You always try to listen and you always try to, you're gonna develop some extreme levels of sounds, which you might end up with some ear problems one day, right? So we should know where to take it, how far we're gonna take it and all that, even with the sound. Smell, it is the same. When we smell a very aromatic smell, we feel like very much attracted by the smell. In the same way, if we go to a very dirty place, we're going to reject, we're going to deny. Some people, they even bring their disliking toward a very extreme level. I never want to go there again. It's too smelly, too dirty place, right? Then we should be able to moderately see that smell. If there is a good smell, there should be a bad smell somewhere too, right? Both sides are working everywhere in the world. It is also a karma, like the sound, like the people, images. Then the taste, I think it's a very big karma. One of the very biggest, I think it is the hardest karma in this world, because you can manage your rupas, you can manage your things you see, you can manage things you hear, you can manage your smell, but it's very difficult for many people to manage their taste, because they are so much into the taste. Food, right? They can't help not, being with such. And I think all the problems that we have in today's world, especially food related, they have gone to our body through our mouth. Even cholesterol, diabetes, sometimes even high blood pressure, they're all part of the food issues. That means we like eating so much. We like eating something too much, right? So let's say you are somebody who likes junk food, but if you do not know where to stop, if you eat on these places every day, every time for 3 meals, you will end up with something really bad. Where's the problem? The problem is you don't have control, you don't have calmness, discipline to your, not to the mouth, but to the taste. We should discipline our taste. Does our tongue know the discipline? No. It is a mental activity that we have to give to our tongue. I'm not going to go to that level. But once in a while, eating at a certain junk food place, it's okay. Why not? But we should know where to stop. We should discipline our tongue in that perspective. Those people who end up with a lot of, eating at those places, they have not trained their tongue. They have not trained their smell. They have not trained their other things. We need training for them. But it's difficult because it's within you. Nobody is asking, why do you eat too much this and that? People will not disrespect you, but you disrespect your senses within you, right? And the body, it's a very complex place, comfort, right? So you are mostly bothered by the touch, individuals, and then the things. Even sitting on a, cozy cushion over here, I don't think that troubles you, but you feel comfort. But if you were to sit on the floor, you might think, okay, 1 hour, right? How I'm going to survive here, right? These bothering thoughts could have come to you, but now you are comfortable, but you are not attached into the cozy chair. You simply think, I sit here because I wanted to develop my peace of mind, clarity. The Buddha says, you will not find happiness through dukkha. You will only find happiness through sukha, happiness. Happiness to happiness, and not dukkha to dukkha, suffering to suffering, suffering to happiness. It will not happen. That's an old bumpkin slogan. Hard working always takes us to everything. Old bumpkin slogan. It's not. In today's world, as you see, it's being smart. You may be sometimes in a very small cubicle, but you can handle everything in the world. Being smart. So going beyond the hard-working thing, there are still people who need hard-working stuff. But if you know what to do, it's a good mechanism within your mindset and how you think. All right, and then the mind, this is the coordinating part of all your karmas, right? Thoughts. So if you can calm your mind from the hindrances, kama chanda, vyapada, thina middha, uddhacca kukkucca vicikicca. Kama chanda means again sensual desire, vyapada means ill will, then thina middha means laziness of your body and the mind, uddhacca kukkucca means restlessness of your mind and the remorse or regret, and vicikicca means doubts. These are kind of hindrances. I want to see that door, but they are coming between the door and me. So I'm going to see the door through these 5. So we have to put them away and then see the clarity as it is, like getting into vipassana. So we have to bring, or I would say put these 5 hindrances away so that we're going to see everything as it is, anything as it is, vipassana. But now we see things as we are. So we are into troubles. That means our subjective version always troubles us, not the objective version. All right, now let's narrow down to the exact area of kamasumichachara. That is sexual conduct. Not having sexual conduct. And I explained to you at the beginning, it is not just a physical activity. It is fundamentally not cheating. So not cheating is a very important thing, because that means you are with somebody with a very mindful, compassionate, caring, loving relationship. That is a must. Why is it? A lot of people do not know. A lot of people think that we should always walk away from every karma, which is a wrong understanding. That is Jainism. Jains at the time of the Buddha, they said so. No karmas at all. No clothes, no karmas. They said nothing. Give pain to your body, no happiness. The more you give unhappiness to your body, dukkha to your body, the happier you will become. And Buddha said, this is ridiculous. This is not going to work. Happiness will only bring you another level of happiness. And not dukkha will give you happiness. Right? So, cheating. This is interesting. Now, in the Mangala Sutta, what did the Buddha say? There are 38 Mangala. What is Mangala? I'm trying to make a background to this topic. I think you all know what is Mangala. Huh? I think you all chant. Do you chant at home? How many of you chant at home? Huh? Or you just come and listen to the chanting? Somebody else. You can do that too, but do you not chant at home? Do you? No. Others? You have a chanting book, even if you don't chant. You have the chanting book, right? So in this chanting book, you see the 3 main suttas at the beginning. I think these are the 3 suttas the monks chant whenever they go to a house, even in the temple. What are they called? Maha Mangala Sutta. 38 highest blessings that you have to create. Not you will not get. You have to create and you will get them. Because when we talk about blessings, most people think, blessings will come to me, yeah? The monk blessed me, so I'm blessed now. No, that's wrong. Misconception. That is a certain way of blessing, one form of blessing. But the true blessings do not come just because somebody bless. So true blessings come when you create them. So the first sutta we call Maha Mangala Sutta is about 38 blessings that you are supposed to create. Second sutta, Ratana Sutta. Ratana Sutta is a sutta which the Buddha said in the Visala. He chanted to Bhante Anand and asked him to chant everywhere because they had 3 problems. They had evil spirits everywhere, and people started dying because no food. So evil spirits were trying to eat those dead bodies, and then no food. So the 3 problems were addressed by reciting the Ratana Sutta. Third sutta is Metta Sutta. How to spread loving kindness. Highest form of dana. Right? Highest form of dana. So you have to give loving kindness to other people. Just as when you are in a relationship, you have to tell that I love you. Even to your mother, father, everybody. Otherwise they don't know. Just because I'm carrying you, you don't know, you don't notice me. Right? You have to sometimes say, but you have to do the part. Otherwise they might think, what is this? I don't feel you. You have to always tell the loved ones that I do care you, both physically and verbally also. So, among the 38 blessings, there are 2 blessings the Buddha said to create. Taking care of your spouse, taking care of your children. Can you remember that stanza? How was it given? Putta Daracha Sangaho, right? Putta Daracha Sangaho. That means one has to take care of one's children and one's wife. It is a blessing. Because a lot of people don't do that properly. Then it will become a downfall in that life. Family problems. Maybe they must have made a mistake at the beginning. That's why you have to be very careful. So the Buddha said, taking care of your spouse and children is a blessing. 2 blessings actually. So when the Buddha said so, then what does it mean? Lay life has to be very much organized. Now we start from there. When you take care of your spouse, now we're talking about the third precept, Kamesamichachara, then you are minimizing issues arising from that place. Right? So, now, if you look at some of the stories in the Buddhist history, you will see one story. In this story, there's a couple, Nakula Mata, Nakula Pita. What were their names? Nakula Mata, Nakula Pita. So, this couple approached the Buddha. And then now Nakula Pita, the man of the relationship's marriage, said to the Buddha, Bhante, we have been together for 60 years now, 60 or 80 years by that time in a marriage. Very long time. Huh? And the Buddha said, okay, what? And then he said to the Buddha, ever since I married to this woman, this lady, I have never thought about anybody else. Is that a good man? Should be a good man. Although there are temptations, temptations are always everywhere, but he did not. He says, so I want to be with her in my next life. And Nakula Mata starts saying the same thing. We've been together for 60 or 80 years. I think 60 years, assuming that they are 80. And she said the same thing. I haven't even thought about any man. Because my mind was positioned in this relationship, really into that thing. So I also want the same thing. Is it possible? Did the Buddha say everything is anicca, no karma, do not go to another life? We don't know whether you can be humans. Right? What did the Buddha say? Yes, it is possible. Interesting. It is possible. On 4 things. What are the 4 things? Sama Sila, Sama Saddha, Sama Chaga, Sama Panya. I think you know the second words in all these words. Sila, Saddha, Sila, Chaga, Panya. That means trust, mutual trust. Saddha, Sila means, I would say, ethical conduct. And then Chaga means generosity. Panya means wisdom. But there's one word before all these Pali words. Sama, 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 Sama. S-A-M-A. S-A-M-A, Saddha. S-A-M-A, Sila. S-A-M-A, Chaga. S-A-M-A, Panya. What does it mean? Sama is equal. If you're looking for a relationship, you should see at least somebody who has the similar mutual trust between each other. Sometimes the person that you are with could be somebody who is overprotecting you. It's too much care. Sometimes too less care. Let's say too much care is at least okay. That's for the good side. But if there's no mutual trust, then there are always problems coming up, suspicions coming up. That's a problem. There's no communication at all for that. If the person you are going to be with has no fundamental ethics, right, do whatever he or she wants, right, and no concern about the long-term plans and everything, that means it's a problem. But both of you really discuss everything good skills, active communication, not passive, and there's nothing you hide between the both, definitely there's good, what you call, sila happening. Mutual sila. It's like mutual funds in the banks, investments, mutual stuff. That's a good way that the financial companies are promoting, mutual stuff. And the third virtue that the Buddha said to that couple is that you have to always also have samachaga. They both have to have a certain nature of generosity to a certain level equally. Let's say the man wants to be generous, but the lady does not want. But lady wants, but the man doesn't want. So there are some issues with donating stuff and then giving away even the used stuff. He has a different idea, she has a different idea. So looking at whether we have the similar idea that I want to donate and you want to donate, and giving back to the society, that's at least some level of similarity in your generosity. See how the Buddha looking at the relationship. It's pretty interesting. And then the last one is wisdom. And the both should have some level of, at least, similar level of wisdom, at least to a certain level. Now, wisdom here does not mean nibbana. Wisdom means they both think twice, far-sighted, going beyond the knowledge and rationalization, intellectual stuff. They think twice. What should we do now? Talk to each other. Pleasantly understand, make decisions each other. Then the Buddha said, if both of you have been practicing these four, then you are going to be reborn as a couple again. Possible. Did even Buddha say, even that you will be reborn again, you will go through anicca again? No, he didn't say. Because the Buddha's teaching is for everybody, not only for somebody who is very serious and want to attain Nibbana tonight. There were people like that, but there are people like this also. It is a multifaceted. The approach is for everybody, right? Everybody who wants to learn something out of it. Now, what does it mean? Buddha respected trust, mutual sila, mutual generosity, mutual wisdom. So I think if two people wanted to keep these four, they will not have issues like kamisumichachara. That would be more like engaging in sexual activity with love and respect, and not just, I want to do it, just for physical desires only. So then you are only focusing on that particular person. That will really takes you to a very compassionate, loving, and then mindful nature and ethical nature of that particular activity. So that is what the third precept is all about. So you need karma, but you know your level. You are not just being dragged or carried away by your physical desires only. You have respect, you have compassion, you have responsibility, and most of all, you have love towards that person. You are in a particular relationship and you are thinking about that person. So Buddha says a long-lasting love is a need for somebody to feel happy, and then to understand Nibbana, even to understand Sila, Samadhi, Panya. But if you look at it from an elderly person, this could be different, because this should not be different actually, because they should understand this not as an activity but as extending respect, love and caring, because they are not going to go away even you're getting older. So you're going to keep maintaining that stuff for the person that you are with. So that is the third precept. There are a lot of things, but I just nailed down to this area. All right, any questions? And otherwise we're going to take to the next level here. Any questions about the third precept or whatever I brought up today here? There's a mic, huh? You can take the mic.
Good morning, Bhante and brothers and sisters. Basically, I can summarize as a human being, right? They create this kind of atmosphere. Is actually first is from the thoughts, you see. After when you have something in mind, your thoughts, then you will translate into speech, and then from the speech you go into action. So these all are linked to the five senses. In Buddhism, I was taught the middle way, right? You can go all the way to the extreme of hungers and all this, or go to the middle way. The way I understand it, actually, we are, as a human, we are living in a circles. The ultimate goal is actually Buddhahood. But within the life as a human being, we are flesh and blood, right? We are actually live in the four lower world, and circulate to the upper world. Or the way I understand is actually the four lower world, I mean, is through this kind of actions, right, or speech and thought, right, we have to revolve around, you know, in a world of hell, in a world of hunger, in a world of anger, in a world of animalities. These are actually the lowest ranking that we are, human sufferings. We have to go through that. And then as you evolve, right, education, like when you study all these things, you go into a learning process, and from learning, you go to absorptions. From absorption, you understand, you put into practice. Then you go into a bodhisattva way. When you go to a bodhisattva way, whatever is down there, right, you look like, you actually look from the outside, looking into the whole. So that translates to mindfulness. From this mindfulness, right, then the ultimate game is...
Could you please shorten to the question?
Okay, the question I'm asking is actually, how do we, right, control this kind of emotion, that, that fatal attractions, or this kind of, like husband and wife infidelities and all those kind of things. But I practice that by doing that, right, by chanting and practicing, right, it really let me focus, don't think about all these distractions. You see, this called emotional dishonest thing to overcome that. Okay, my question is very simple. As a Buddhist, right, what is the middle way that would you guide, right, in this kind of relationships, or in terms of, how can I say it, to get into that lower level to the level of that you are actually looking things from another level as a bodhisattva to understand the whole issues. Thank you.
Okay. So I would say you first brought up the fatal distractions, something like that. No? So I would say temptations are always everywhere, but if you have a focus, if you have a focus, the focus means that you have officially committed to somebody, right? So that is your focus. So when you have a focus, you have a greater chance of minimizing temptations. That is one thing, because you physically look at it that way. And now, how do we understand otherwise somebody is misbehaving, that somebody is trying to have an extramarital affair with a woman, or maybe a man in a committed relationship? That is bad because that person is committed into that thing. There may be some issues in that thing, but you are trying to make a space to enter into that relationship. So in Buddhism, the Buddha says, well, you may have intentions, good thoughts, but the problem is they're going to separate at that point. If you try your level best, then what will happen to you is that in another life, you will lose somebody who is very faithful to you. Looking at the karma, I think karma could be a good motivation here. If you destroy somebody's relationship, the dearly cordial relationships, then you will face the same consequences in a future life, maybe in this life too. Karma is a good motivation to think about temptations, fatal or extreme ones. So you know that I'm not going to do that because I know this is bad. Karma will come after me. That's a good motivation. On the other hand, you're looking at what will happen to these people, consequences. They will suffer a lot. Children are going to be separated, right? So all that. So my understanding is that individually speaking, if you are somebody who is going to a relationship, maybe not anybody here, not everybody here, you should look at how best you're going to hold on to that particular relationship, whether I can really work on it, whether I can really be with that particular person, the man or the woman, so that you minimize everything. And I think when you committed to somebody, your temptations also might go away because you have a focus, then you have somebody to think about, right? So looking at the karma side and looking at the committed relationship, I think we can minimize most of the temptations. But there are other people who have very high desires. That's a problem. So we ask them to practice some moderation, because moderation is always good. yeah, so moderation part. It's an individual thing too, because my moderation might not be your moderation, right? So it's a very individualistic case by case thing, but moderation is still a good topic to think about. So looking at the karma, your vipaka, what will happen to you in this life and after, because when people curse other people, you did this thing to me, and you should face the same consequence. That is really bad. When people curse, that may come to you one day, if you really done it. So the karma side, and then the consequences, or maybe the things that happen after that thing in this life that you see through your own eyes, looking at that side, and I would say moderation. I think these three will help you to a certain level to manage your thoughts, manage your temptations. Temptations are not bad; they are coming to us because of the evolution. They come to us not because we are bad, but because this is a part of the evolution. But how do we accept, how do we manage them is the Buddhist thing. We have to manage them. Every time a temptation comes, not even karma. Let's say you want to blame somebody, you want to hit somebody, but you are trying, is this a good thing? Is this a kusala? So you try to bring them to kusala side. Should I do or should I not do? Do a lot of people take time to think about the emotion that comes to them? No, they just being driven and they just react. The Buddha says, no, do not react, but respond. A good response. What should I do now? Take some time, maybe some minutes, maybe some seconds, right? Does that answer your question a little bit?
No, I have a second question.
Okay, give me a second. If anybody else has any questions, so then we will come back to you again.
Okay, the next question is actually, what if the couple thing don't work out? They are mutually agreed to let it go. Means say that separations and that kind of things. How will Buddhism see from the point of divorce in a mutual agreement without much hatred? Because if you keep on trying and it don't work out, come to a point it's best that it won't work out. So let's accept the facts.
Okay.
And that kind of thing.
Good. I remember one young couple went to a temple and then said to the people over there, I want to talk to the monks because we are arguing all the time. Our thoughts recently do not work to each of us. So then they brought them to one monk, one temple somewhere else in the world. And he was listening to the both version. So both are saying different things about what happened. He said, okay, if you cannot stay together, just go for a divorce. But they were trying to cry, both of them. No, we don't want that. We have problems. We want to solve them. We came to the temple for that. That means I think it's good to first help them. I think the help should come from the right person. Trying to solve, trying to be a mediator, to listen to the both versions, rather trying to say you are wrong. Trying to see what you call the fine line, the fine line where they can be together. So as Buddhists, we should not come up with a divorce in the first place. We should try our level best to bring them together. But if things going very violent, very bad, and each one's life is going to be at danger, so we have no options. Then there is the legal divorce. That is how I can say from the Buddhist teachings. Because it is easy to separate, but it's not very easy to bring together. Right? It is easy to lose anything very fast, but it is not that easy, that fast to bring things together, bring people together. So we should never help anybody to go for a divorce in the first place. Hey, go for a divorce. That's pretty bad, right? They may have lots of potentials to be together, but just because something happened yesterday, last month, bad decision, we should not think about a divorce. We always should look for somebody who can really give us a good advice and where to solve these issues. Maybe they are not capable of solving their problems by themselves, right? Actually, these couples, they don't know sometimes. They love each other, but they don't know sometimes. They go to very extreme levels, but at that point, both are helpless. That's why some people address the counselors. They go to counselors because they have some private stuff to talk about, and if it is good, maybe they can approach required, I would say, eligible monk for that. So I think divorce is not the first approach, I would say. Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right, let's take, yeah, please.
Since you are from Canada,
Yes.
I want to ask you how the Westerners are thinking about this karma and sensuous feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Because like Elizabeth Taylor, she married so many times and married the same husband a few times,
Yeah.
So what type of thinking they have in terms
Yes.
of karma and all this?
Very good question. So for Canadians, I think marriage is making a lot of choices time to time, but there are long-term. I think it's basically attached to religion. Most of the, I would say, millennials and new generations, they are not attached to church or religion, so they just, I think they are not marrying faster. They're taking time. Maybe they are in an engagement level for 10, 12 years, then only they're going to marry. But still, they may have some potential issues. So I'm trying to say that, like the Asians, a lot of times, they don't think that marriage is a long-term commitment. So they may get into different other choices. It might be okay for them because they are not Buddhists. Because in our way, this is our way. So we think that a long-term relationship is better. So we have to make a right choice at the beginning. That's the problem. Westerners don't think that they have to make the right choice long term. They say, at the moment, I'm going to make the right choice. At the moment, now. They live for the moment, right? Most of the Westerners. Work, earn money, eat, and finish by tonight, most of them. Right? We are not like that. We plan. We plan our money, we plan our family, you plan your relationships. I think you are more concerned about other humans. I'm not saying they are not. They're concerned in a different way. Their lifestyle is that they think for the time. But later on, they come up with something, okay, I think I made a bad decision, I'm going to go for somebody else. That's the Western way, actually. I think it's actually, it's different. So the way how they look at karma is the same. They are very, very romantic people, I think. Very romantic for everything. So they're easily attracted to people and easily go away from them. So Easterners, we are not like that. We take time to understand somebody, and then only we lay foundation. So it is like that. So I think for those thinking patterns, the way how they earn money, how they live, the culture, whether they all are contributing. Because they're living in a very different cultural format. So yeah, and plus in the West, religion is a very bad subject to talk about nowadays. I mean, not in the universities. I mean, if you ask what's your religion, they feel like really uncomfortable. I hate religions. They like to talk about spirituality. Buddhism is just fine, but so the trend is about being atheist, being not religious but spiritual. So they have a different way. It is their way because those cultures evolve that way. But they are certainly into spirituality. Yeah, they are certainly into spirituality in their own way. For them, divorce is something like a simple thing. And there are books how to make a peaceful divorce. Books. You can borrow from the libraries. I have seen. Yeah. It's that easy. The legal system also making them easy to do that. I sometimes think, I wonder whether they don't have enough patience to understand something, but that is their culture. Right? All right? Any more questions? Can take one more question if you have. Yes, please. Yeah, please take the mic. Yeah.
Okay, Bhante, this morning you were mentioning about the 3 sutta we have to chant every day, right? But if you listen through a CD, does it help? or you don't chant together, but we listen to the CD and in the car, for example, while we're driving to work, we listen to the Sri Sutta. Will it helps, or is better to chant yourself? And second question
Buddhism
is
talks about the mind,
the mind.
not a CD, DVD or CD or a pen drive or a book. All these are helping other people. Some people like to read from a book. Some people just play it while they are driving. I sometimes don't recommend that, because if you are driving, you should focus on the road. When you listen into chanting, you will be more peaceful, and then you will get out of that focusing and you will run into somebody and say, oh no, can you say I'm listening to the chanting, so sorry about that. You can't do that. When you are on the road, you are running into a big trouble, because many people are driving. If one person is going to make a mistake, everybody will be a part of that mistake. You're going to kill many people. But why you listen to chanting? You want the blessings. Here you are killing people on the other side, right? So on the road, you should listen to something that is keeping your focus, your mindfulness, your energy and all that, so you are peacefully making that maneuver on the road. So in Buddhism, it doesn't matter how you listen to the chanting. Maybe if monks show up, it's good. Let's say you read, you listen. The most important thing is that how you cultivate wholesome thoughts. That is most important. That is a mental activity. It is a mental activity. So Buddhism is more about the mental activity, not about the physical activity as a whole. Physical activity supports us to navigate our mental part, but not necessarily. Right? Now somebody might say, I'm not listening, I'm not reading, but I am chanting by myself. Even at that point, the most important thing is how you cultivate dana, metta, panya within yourself. It's a mental act, so it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But do not try to look at monks chanting. Okay, we don't need monks. I just chant by myself. If you really have an occasion where you need to invite monks, you may do so, because it's a cultural event. But in terms of the karma, there's no big bearing about it. Please take the mic. Yeah. Take the mic. Yeah.
For example, we attend puja and chanting ceremony. Most of the chanting is in Pali. I'm sure 70% cannot understand what Pali is, unless you go into detail. But does it help or not to a person if you sit down there and start not chanting but listening to the monk?
Yeah, a good question. Now, let's say I speak Sinhalese, where I was born, although I'm Canadian. Let's say I'm going to chant you in Sinhala, and none of you will understand what I'm talking, right? Except this gentleman. But you know what I'm doing is something good to you. This Bhante is saying something good to me, but don't know what it is that. So you feel blessed. But what if I say in a language that you understand? You feel more blessed. You feel more happy, more blessings come out. I think the clarity plays a role. Yeah, but because of the lack of communication between the sacred monastics and the lay people, there are issues. But clarity makes sense. Let's say I'm chanting this Sabbi tiyo vivajjantu, you know that? Sabba rogo vinassatu, mate bhavatvantarayo, sukhi digayuko bhav. Sabbi tiyo, you never know. Now, after I chant, let me tell you, may all your fears go away. What a lovely statement. You don't like to be feared at anything. Sabba rogo vinassatu, may all your sicknesses go away, even a mild back pain. Mate bhavatvantaraya, may you not meet with any accident on the road or elsewhere. Sukhi digayuko bhava, may you live long. Now, just saying the Pali part and saying both the Pali part and English part, which will make you more into happiness and thinking within yourself, the both. So there's a difference.
For example, if we just read in English without Pali, does it work?
Just reading.
For example, we read the Okay, for example, we just take up this sutta book and read. We don't read the Pali part. We just read the English part. Is it okay? Then we can understand more. Sometimes I was
Alright.
thinking.
I think you are struggling with Pali, yeah? All right.
It means we are reading something that I don't understand. That sometimes defeat the
Well,
purpose.
Well, I mean, because if it is everything is mental, then whatever the language that comes to you in a good way should be good, right? I think the monastics might not like that, but in my understanding, it is good. But what if you learn some Pali? No, I don't think so. Small stanzas, maybe a couple of stanzas. You are not chanting like a monk, like long chanting. You only chant few things, so you learn it. So you know the both. That is the good way, right? Because some translations are wrong. Yeah, wrong. That's the problem. Are you going to focus on wrong translations? That is the problem. So better to learn some little Pali. There's no harm because we learn a lot of bad things everywhere, all the time. How many bad things we learning every day? So why don't we learn little Pali? Little Pali, just maybe 7, 8 stanzas. Then sabbitiyo, sub means every, bita means fears. Vivajjantu, go away. Sub, everything, all. Rogo means sicknesses. No, you know, roga means sicknesses. Every time somebody, roga means. Vivajjantu, go away. I think that's a better way. But if you think you have a learning problem, so you may go with the English translation. I mean, at least it's okay because rather than not struggling. But my suggestion is to learn some Pali, little Pali, not too much grammar stuff. Basic. No, I mean, basic means learn from the text you want to learn. Now, I have a Pali class which I'm doing every Thursday, online Pali class, reading class. We have about like 45 people, most of them are Malaysians, and we go to every stanza. And we learn every stanza, the meaning of that. So it's a brand new class, started on June 1st, and I tell them, I'm not teaching you grammar. If you want to learn grammar, go elsewhere, because there are a lot of Pali classes. A lot of people end up with a lot of confusions, because it's not your language. So what I'm teaching you is that we go to a certain text and we learn the text with chant. So it's easy. Not that man falls from the tree in Pali. You're trying to look at how I'm going to put into Pali. Manusso rukkam patati. That is not necessary because that is not in the text. You don't want to be a Pali expert, right? I don't think so. That's an academic thing. You want to learn some Pali for your chanting. That's what you want. So that's why I told him, you are learning the required chanting part, both the relevant chanting part, both translation wise and contextual wise. Many people like that idea. So that could be a good idea. Okay. All right. So let's then transfer good karmas. May all the good karmas which we've been accumulating today be transferred to all the departed people, especially this Dhamma talk is sponsored by late Brother James Meditation Group, and in memory of Eun Ka Lit and Chu Tam Wan, in memory of Chang Wan Chang, in memory of Ang Boon Pin. So let's focus on those individuals who passed away. Not even them, may everybody who passed away in the name of all of you, in this life or in past lives, be able to receive all these good karmas. May they be well and happy. May they attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Idamme ñāti nang hutu sukhita huntu ñātayo. Idamme ñāti nang hutu sukhita huntu ñātayo. Idamme ñāti nang hutu sukhita huntu ñātayo. May all the good karmas be shared by all the devas, nagas and mahitikas. May devas, nagas and mahitikas be well and happy. May they protect and bless all of you. everybody who are here, even Albert, Hawkin, and everybody, these family members and everybody who showed up here today to listen to the Dhamma talk. May all you be protected and blessed by the Devas, Nagas, and Mahitikas for good health, quality of life, prosperity, and safety. Finally, may Devanaga Mahidika also attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Ittavatacha ammehi sambhatang punya sampadang sabbe deva anumodantu sabba sangpatti siddhya. Ittavatacha ammehi sambhatang punya sampadang sabbe bhuta anumodantu sabba sangpatti siddhya. Ittavatacha ammehi sambhatang punya sampadang sabbe satta anumodantu sabba sangpatti siddhya. Akasatta cha bhummatta devanaga mahindika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkang tuluka sasanang. Akasatta cha bhummatta devanaga mahindika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkang tudesanang. Akasatta cha bhummatta devanaga mahindika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkang tumang paranti chirang rakkang tutwang sadati. In this sansaric journey, may we be always in the company of the Kalyana Mittas, noble friends, and not with the Papa Mittas, bad friends who can take us away from the noble path, Dhamma journey. Thinking thus, we're going to recite this stanza as a wish. Imina punya kammena mami bala samagamu satang samagamu hotu yava nibbana pattiya. Finally, may all the good karmas that we've been accumulating today be supportive and helpful for all of us to attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Abhivadana silissa niccang vaddha pachayino chattaru dhamma vaddhanti ayuvannu sukha